back to another episode of 5 Minutes with Jesus and Jesse. And this is a bonus episode for you guys because I'm not saying I wouldn't necessarily share this ever, but it is not something that I would have made a specific video over had I not talked to my bestie Joni today and she was like, there are other people that need to hear this. So here we are. I'm going to share the story I shared with her today, and I hope it just blesses you and encourages you. So as a mother, I've been learning in the past year or so how to lead my children and be an example for them, be a true example for them. So there were some things that we were doing, but like praying before dinner every night. I read a devotional with my kids every night before they go to bed. But I'm talking about actively using your Christian walk to encourage your children. And so what I mean by that is the other night, like Crew, for example, was very worried and upset that he was going to have a nightmare that night. So I was like, do you know that what we could do to help with this anxiety and this fear that you're having? And he's like, pray. And I'm like, yes, exactly. So I prayed over him. That's just one example, but that we have to stop as parents just doing things for them without them seeing or understanding why we're doing it. So yes, I've prayed over my children for years. They're sick, I pray for them. They're worried, I pray for them. They're struggling, I pray for them. But at some point it has to become praying with them and teaching them how to do this. And so when they're sick, I now pray out loud over them as they're sick. I don't go into their rooms or as they're taking a nap beside me. I mean, I still do that, but I need them to see what I'm doing and why. The same thing with Crew having this nightmare, and I was like, let's pray. Here's why we're gonna pray. God is gonna ensure that you're not gonna have this nightmare. He's gonna take away this fear and this worry, and we're just gonna give it to him. So the same thing with what happened to me the other night. It was very loud in here. The TV was going, the kids were just going crazy. And I wanted to just read in my Bible. So I took all my stuff and I went into my room and I was sitting on the floor and I was reading, and my son came in there and he was playing on my phone or whatever as I'm sitting here reading and doing my devotional. And that was fine. And I got to the end and I was getting ready to have prayer and like some quiet time. And I was just about to say, hey, can you go out, buddy? I'm going to pray, and I would like to not be distracted. But then I thought about it. Him bearing witness to me sitting on the floor reading my Bible and then going into prayer and quiet time with God is way more important than me maybe being distracted during this time. And that was what Joni thought was so important. Our kids have to start bearing witness to us actually living this out, not just telling them what to do, but doing it with them and living it out in front of them. And that's something that I've been bad about, is doing stuff in private because I want my alone time with God. But what I'm realizing is it's more important for my kids to see me having alone time with God. And so as my son was sitting on the floor the other night and I was doing my Bible study and I just go into prayer, and he sat there and listened to my prayer and he knew what I was doing. But that is the example that we have to start setting for our children. It has to be the way that we live our lives, something that's not uncommon. If they walk into our room and they see me like this, they're not like, what's mom doing? They have to know she's praying. And not think it's uncommon or not think it's out of the ordinary or not think it's weird. It has to be a part of our daily routine, just like brushing our teeth, just like putting the dishes away. They see us do these things, so they start mimicking what we're doing. We know we have to brush our teeth. We know we have to shower. We know we have to pick up our toys and keep our rooms clean. We know we need to pray. We know we need to have quiet time with God. We know we need to read our Bible. And I just encourage you, start living that out in front of your children, because they are going to take note of that. And then when they start doing it and they start practicing it on their own, they're not going to be uncomfortable about it. They're going to be able to do it on their own because they've seen you as an example so many times. So I just hope for all of you moms out there that this just encourages you, and wives as well, or sisters or friends, that we just start living this out. We start doing these things, not in private. I mean, there is importance to having a private, quiet time with God. But if we're truly witnessing to those, starting with those in our house, we need to be doing this in front of them. We need to be sharing our epiphanies with them. We need to be, come read this, listen to this. Do you know what this means? Do you know how exciting this is? They need to be hearing us pray. And I think that us living this example is gonna be so instrumental to the faith walk in our children, in our loved ones' lives, in our friends, our family, everyone who sees us doing this on a regular basis. So just let this encourage you. Be brave, be bold, live it out loud, and live it in front of those that you want to witness to.